that I need more of, so pull up.
There's a lot going on. It's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to talk about. You know what I'm saying? It's been a week. It's been a lot since the last time we visited y'all, man. It's a lot been going on. Yeah. Okay then. Know your flavor now.
That was us.
Oh, okay, man. I don't know what that was about. We got the $5 about flavor.
That was us.
Oh, okay, man. I don't know what that was about. I found out the day that $5 about flavor. Police force that quit. Like, man, yeah, he just quit. Like, just quit.
The riot squad?
Yeah, the riot squad. They say they don't get no protection, no help, so they quit.
Oh.
Yeah. And so
what? Wait a minute. So what? They feeling the way they feeling unsafe and unprotected?
That's what they said.
Get the man go.
Yeah, you ain't supposed to be there in the first place.
Any daggone way.
You supposed to be there in the first place. So that's supposed to happen. No, we ain't gonna talk bad about it. We gonna congratulate them.
Okay, for quitting. That was us.
So that's supposed to happen. No, we tearing stuff up. I don't condone it. But
that don't even make sense. Do that even go together?
But I'm Darius Hollins, and welcome to the Fli-City Blackout Show.
Hey, I'm sorry.
I'm Darius Hollins, and welcome to the
we definitely appreciate.
Okay, for quitting. That was us. Okay, for quitting. That was us. Okay, for quitting. That was us. Okay, for quitting.
Yeah. Specifically, Mr. E.L. Maloney. I think that was powerful.
It was.
That was a wonderful showing, and I really just thankful to the community for showing up the way that we did. Yeah. Even through rain, sleet, or snow, like folks was out there.
They still showed up. Showed out. They came up. Yeah, they did.
You know what I'm saying?
It was beautiful to see.
And you see all the money being transitioning between vendors and patrons, right?
Our black dollars to be
black folk to black folk. Black folk to black folk.
It did.
That's power.
Right?
We can continue to keep doing that. And we all be millionaires around here.
That's right. We have to.
Yeah, right.
We definitely
Flint always produce millionaires.
Right. Right.
We come from that mindset.
Right.
But I was really just elated to see like just the flow and the energy. And everybody getting to it, man. So big shout out to everybody who played the part in Juneteeth.
All the vendors, everybody. Yeah. 150, 200 people came out, showed out in the rain. But the skies cleared up for us, huh?
Yeah.
Cleared up for us. We had a beautiful parade, right?
Man.
Yeah, I hate I missed Saturday.
We represented for you, though.
I know y'all did.
Yeah.
I had a wedding to go to. Shout out to Courtney and Ashley Rutherford.
Oh, congratulations.
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 On a new couple.
We love black love.
Yeah, black love.
We support black love.
Congratulations, Courtney, man. I did see you. I see you, man.
Support black love. Black love right there.
Yeah,
man.
we support black love. We love black love.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
That's dope. But public service announcement. On
announcement.
other news. Just earlier today, I was riding around. I was coming through the city, and I saw an officer with that was colored. And I was wondering, why is he still under the badge? What is going on? What is going on? But seriously, the reason I say that is because I need y'all to understand, like, man, they trying to come up with even more practices or laws behind covering up for the officers that do kill black folks.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to continue to help them to get away with it.
Yeah.
I know everybody saw how surprised Derek Chauvin was when he got found guilty. Cause I'm telling you, somebody told him, like, man, you act like you killed a person, you killed a nigga, bro. You good. So the guilty verdict came, he was confused. You see his eye? You see his eye?
His what?
His eyes. When they told Derek Chauvin he was guilty, he was confused.
Yeah.
He was like, what?
So that's why it's so important that that get pushed, man. That man, y'all understand, man. Y'all still, when you still rocking with them, we consider you. We consider you, man. That's it. We consider you. So, on another note, still asking for the city of Flint, for our young generation, man. Man, start thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Start thinking out here, man. Condolences out to all the families that just recently lost people. Young girl that was found right up the street, middle of the night, just in the street. Nobody know what happened. I don't understand. I don't understand it. Huh?
What was the phone? What was up with that?
Somebody saw a body in the street, posted on Facebook, check on your loved ones. Police finally show up, identify the body, and nobody know what happened. Nobody know how she got there. Nobody know nothing. You know what I mean? You know that's mean. You know what I mean? That's mean. That's rough for a family. I imagine the mother, how she feel.
I couldn't imagine. Couldn't imagine at all.
We need to definitely, you know what I'm saying, big level of silence for, you know, the daughter, the young lady, even the young girl that, you know, was killed in the parade.
Man, yes, we losing on the young ones, man. They young ones.
Man, that's a real thing, man. And you know, it's unfortunate that, you know, the young lady lost her life, and that it even went down like that, man. Because, you know, even to be honest with you, I'm still unclear of the circumstances, even how it played out. And they said that she shot first, and I didn't see no video that even referenced any of that. So, I mean,
she said she shot twice. I don't
even know how that played out. But what I do know is, man, that was an unfortunate incident, and it's messed up, man. That, you know, she had ended up, you know, losing her life. But us as a community, we want to definitely be very, very, you know, very mindful of the family, being empathetic to the family, and then also seeking and investigating and doing a community investigation, make sure everything checked out. And you know what I'm saying, that's some real stuff on that one. I really want to be strong on that.
Absolutely.
Even though I feel like, you know, when you talk about that parade, when you talk about Juneteenth in general.
Yeah.
Juneteenth was a day for Black people to come together.
Right.
Juneteenth is a day for us to realize who our ancestors, or what our ancestors who were enslaved African Americans, what they did for this country, how they built this country, worked for free. They did that.
Yeah.
Even going through the trials and tribulations of going through the Atlantic slave trade, right? Even to get in. Right. So for our people to work an additional 2 years for free, right? We owe everything back to them.
Not to mention those people that work for free, but what about the ones from the other states where they work free, where they didn't want to conform and they moved to Texas so that they didn't have to, and get an additional 2 years out of them too.
You know what I'm saying? You know, that's the snake activity.
Yeah.
And not sharing information and then prying on folks. Right. And so, you know, we got to be better people with each other. And I always talk about us. When we talk about us, first and foremost, it's very important that Black people know that we all we got. Absolutely. We got to be locked in together. Absolutely. When everybody else in the world is against us, we got to be on point with each other. Right. Too far off when we find ourselves in disagreements and we can't line up together. Just like with this Juneteenth that we did this year,
Mm-hmm.
and there ain't no way that it should have been 2 parades on the same day. And I want y'all to know, even the community, right? We did everything that we can to try to make it make sense for, this community.
Right.
As it relates to, even, doing something for, even going to those meetings downtown, even trying to see like how we can kind of connect this and work together, how we can coordinate with those coordinators who were doing it. And it was like pulling teeth sometimes with our people. And that's because sometimes all of us don't carry the right spirit. All of us don't want to see each other make it. All of us don't value each other like brothers and sisters.
Right.
And it's unfortunate because when people who really do, who want to see like this be successful, they really want something from us. Like, I don't want to see us lose. I'm tired of that.
Right.
It's time for better days, sunshines, and the winds.
Right.
Like, it's a way that we get that, and how we deal with each other is going to determine our outcome. So we always want to be able to uplift and always be a support. But when we stab each other in the back and we being spiteful, we being deceitful, and we want to go ahead and step on other folks' parade and make sure that and try to put all these barriers and blockages in the way, you look like a fool. And so that stuff come back and hit you and haunt you, and it exposes you to this community. And that's what I saw with this Juneteenth, man. I was just so disgusted with the activity and the actions of some folks, and it just really made everything just very hard, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. This is for Black people. We got to do better, and we want to get better, and that showed a lot, this past weekend. And I want to make sure that we all learning from this. Like, we ain't just doing the same stuff and allowing this stuff to play out.
Right.
And allow people to divide this community and take away the liberties of folks and think that type of stuff is cool. So
Correct.
time is of the essence, y'all. Time is of the essence, and we got to call that stuff out. So
we do.
The city of Flint, Neely, even when you talk about the Hawkins, you talk about Harris, Paul, that was not the way to do things. I'll tell y'all that right now, man. And I told every one of y'all this, so it ain't no surprise. It don't matter. What you did and how you do things is gonna always determine how people feel about you. So the way that was done was wrong.
Yeah.
And you got to accept that. And so if you want to be right, you got to do right things and be with the right spirit.
Right.
And that wasn't it. So
no,
absolutely, it wasn't. It wasn't. And you know what? That's the problem. We don't think about uniting and being a unit, and we stronger together. We are stronger together. You got a rope, you tie 3 pieces together, it's stronger than just one, right? I'm just saying, like, I don't even understand why that's not a thing. Like, why we don't think to stick together in that. We just so hell bent on just being in the spotlight and being like, it's me, I did it, it's me.
It's been conditioned into our thinking over many years. It's been conditioned into our thinking over many years. And a lot of people don't know how to shake that. A lot of people just don't know how to shake that. And so
it's not one of those things where you need to have the spotlight to say, I did it, right?
That's what it seemed like, though. That's what it was seeming like to me.
But that's just the thing. Like, if you give it, like, if some homeless person was out there and you gave them, do you have to record and you gotta have your camera all the time?
How much money I just gave?
That's ridiculous.
I just give you some money. How much money I just gave? How much you
want to go live and show people what you gonna do with it? Gonna make sure.
That's what I do right there. That's what's going on in the city. That's what's going on. And this is from our leaders. This is our leaders, though.
That's what I do right
Yeah, this our leader. This the leadership.
Yeah, you
gotta
make a post and you gotta share it and then you gotta just broadcast it. That's not a thing that you're supposed to do. Like, it's just like I said this before. My grandmother always said charity starts at home and spreads abroad. And you don't have to broadcast the things that you do. Like, you're gonna reap your benefits however the universe decides to give you those benefits back. You give and you get it back, you're gonna get it back tenfold. You don't have to broadcast it. I feel like you blocking your blessings doing that.
Man, it was just
that's just me.
It was It was a foul move.
It was sad.
It was a foul move.
It was
It was
sad for even other
mad
cities to see
disrespectful.
us that we couldn't
Yeah,
even get it together.
it was mad
right?
disrespectful to Ms. Deloney because
Very.
we talking about the patriarch of it for the city.
46 years.
Yeah, how could you even consider doing anything separate from what she want to do? Like,
why wouldn't you even discuss it with her?
Yeah, they wouldn't without her. If it wasn't for her and her fight for it, this wouldn't even be this wouldn't have been an option.
But and just think about how many of those that did it. They just did it for the party. Like, do you really know what it's for and what it's about? You did it for the party, just to say that, right?
Half the folks don't even know what Juneteenth is. Like, we out there, got T-shirts on and saying Juneteenth. Don't even know the true essence of Juneteenth. Don't even know what happened on Juneteenth. Don't even know what happened, that led up to years before. But we talk about Juneteenth. It's funny to me because you got to have substance in everything that you're doing.
Correct.
If you don't really believe that stuff, if you ain't about unity, if you ain't about Juneteenth, if you ain't about African American culture, Black culture, melanated culture, then you don't got no reason to sit up here and be talking about you celebrating or you want to be facilitating or coordinating some things. Right? That's the difference. It's a difference between folks, man, out there facilitating and you don't even understand the knowledge. You don't even got it.
So you know what is like a little grind in my gears for it? Like, I didn't even feel like I could celebrate it the right way and feel the way I really supposed to feel about it, especially being that we had it became a national holiday.
Come on now.
I couldn't feel like that was a win for us. And I couldn't feel like it was a win for us because of Texas and a few other states that passed that critical race theory bill. So we got Juneteenth. As a national holiday, but then we have this critical race theory bill that got passed in Texas. Juneteenth.
They're trying to erase what they did.
So
they're trying to erase what they did.
So this critical, right? So I just was researching it, right? Like, I got all this stuff I'm researching and trying to figure it out, right? Because I want to know what exactly is this and what this is about, right? So this critical race theory bill passed in Texas by this governor, Greg Abbott, right? He signed this bill, this controversial bill, and it is really prescribes how these teachers can talk about current events in America and the history of racism in the classroom, right?
So do it give the teachers, it gives them wiggle room?
No. So listen. So this makes, so I know it's Texas, it's Missouri, it's Idaho, it's Tennessee. These places have passed like a similar bill to this, right? So it makes them so they're banning the teaching of the critical race theory, right? So it bans how they teach about it. So
race and slavery and all that.
Yeah, so it's you can't talk about it unless you talk about what is it? It mandates students be taught the history of white supremacy. Mandates that you talk about, that they teach the history of white supremacy, including but not limited to the institution of slavery, the movement, the KKK, and in ways which is morally wrong, right? So how many of them are really going to talk about how it's morally wrong, right? If you can't talk about the actual part of slavery, right? So you can't.
So I don't get that. How you can't talk about slavery?
So you can't talk about like how it came across. You can't talk about like they went over there and came and got us to build
Or
this
you
country.
can really say it's vague. All you can get is like a vague responses,
right.
Like, yeah, it was wrong.
Exactly.
So it wasn't right.
So then it goes on to say. So it's Texas, it's Missouri, it's Idaho, Tennessee.
All racist states.
So in 2020,
y'all racist, you know it. So whatever.
In 2020, Donald Trump banned federal employees from training that discusses the criminal race theory as well, or white privilege. He banned that.
Because he racist. Once again, I'm just making a
so
point.
Then, if they do talk about any of that, they have to defend both sides.
Right.
Huh? Yeah.
Right.
So
you're gonna defend? How can any person morally conscious defend white supremacy?
Right.
Or the Ku Klux Klan? Or the Ku Klux Klan?
The people that oppose it say that it limits, the conversation about race and racism, right? Mm-hmm. And then so it goes on to say, he goes on in this bill to sign that says the 1619 project is banned. You can't teach that. So I did some research on the 1619 project. Now I knew about the 1619 project, however, I didn't know like the full to do of it. So they introduced this in some schools. They started teaching this because assistant Nicole Hannah Jones, she writes for the New York Times. Mm-hmm. She did this project and so it's this big project. So let me read it. It says the 1619 project is a long-form journalism project developed by Nicole Hannah Jones and some writers from the New York Times and the New York Times Magazine, which aims to reframe the country's history by placing the consequences of slavery and the contributions of Black Americans at the very center of the United States national narrative. The project was first published in the New York Times in August of 2019 for the 400th anniversary of the arrival of the first enslaved Africans in the English colony of Virginia. The project later included a broadsheet article. Anyway, so she won a Pulitzer Prize for this, right? Mm-hmm. They trying to take that from her. They are legit trying to take this Pulitzer Prize from her for doing this, and they didn't want to ban it so that they can't talk about it or teach it or anything.
So my thing is, what the hell are we gonna do? You mean to tell me that these fools gonna try to sit up here and talk about slavery without talking about slavery?
Dude, it's like so much.
That's what they want. That's what they want. And it's the point where you ever hear a white person say something like this, like, man, it was so long ago, man. Why are you still upset? Yeah, it was so long. like it ain't still affecting. Why are you so angry when you talk about it? Like it ain't still affecting. Yeah. Like we still ain't under a white supremacist government that runs everything. Please believe the national holiday thing. You think you did so? We don't care about what you talking about. We was celebrating like it was a national holiday anyway. Had it failed on a weekday, guess what? I wouldn't have been at work. Nothing would have happened to me. I just wouldn't have been at work. It is what it is. It's a national holiday for me.
I don't feel like I can celebrate it the right way. Because in Texas, this is, you know what I'm saying? Right where we supposed to be celebrating the biggest and the largest, because that's where it's at. And I'm talking about this. It's so much. It was a rabbit hole. Like I was like literally like going. I was like, Jesus, is this crazy? That's a whole problem with itself. Exactly. And so their problem with this 1619 project is that it's this information that she has is going further back. So the dates are even further back, and they are pissed. Pissed. Yeah. So Nicole Hannah Jones. So they are upset because this information that she has goes all the way back to like 1493. They are pissed.
That's what she done dug up some. Should have dug up some stuff, and they bad. Listen, you can't. Your skeletons go always fall out the clothes. So you can't keep it hidden, man.
My mommy say, when I come on the wash, come on the rinse.
Man, every time.
So what we need to do is definitely support that 1619 project.
Yeah, absolutely. We in support of the 1619 project. If you ain't, then we know who you are. Right. There's no way you can. There's no way anybody can be voting.
But see, that's the thing. How many of us have you ever heard of that? The 1619 project?
I didn't know nothing about the 1619 project.
I'm telling you how I hear about it because I read everything, and I was reading a magazine, and they were talking about it.
About what was gonna happen to her, what they were trying to do.
It was back then when it was, but I never heard anything else about it. But come to find out that this is a curriculum that had been being taught in some places, and now they're like, you can't talk about it, you can't nothing. They even want to take this sister's Pulitzer Prize for this.
So what we gonna do as people? We gonna let them take that assistance project, or
we gonna continue to let these states pass this type of bill where we can't teach our history? We can't even know about our history without teaching white privilege, and we have to make sure that we defend both sides. Boy, I probably got kicked out of school.
Nah, I got kicked out of school when they wasn't talking about that. So I know where they've been dealing like this. I'd have been out of there. Yeah, all the way crazy. Now you gonna really have my attention. It's gonna be a real problem.
So we gonna dumb it down and we gonna water it down so that our children coming up won't even know about it.
That's the intention.
This is crazy.
That's the intention.
No, so it's a
that's the intention.
We got to be putting it out there on the forefront. We gonna keep talking about our history.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Freedom schools. We gonna be talking about critical race theory.
Most definitely.
We gonna be talking about slavery and white supremacy. We're gonna talk about the black culture in this community. We're gonna talk about how we built the civilization.
Most definitely, how we did it.
Absolutely.
We did it.
Our story. We ain't gotta just because the teachers ain't talking about it in school. You make sure you talk about it at home.
How the creativeness that flows through our genes, man, our genetics, that creativeness. They have tried everything to knock us down. We always find a way to sustain. You know what I mean? To overcome, to overachieve. Always. So that's beautiful in itself. But
y'all look that up. Y'all research that. Like, look that up. Teach this to your kids, man. This sister did some work. It's a lot of information. When I'm telling you, like, I was down a rabbit hole.
16,
like
19
the 16-19 project.
Also get those that Juneteeth bill. Definitely want to make sure that all these states.
It's called the critical race theory bill.
Critical race theory bill,
man. This is crazy, man.
Signed into law. That was signed into law
on June 15th, 2021.
So listen, you want to be able to research that information, but also we need to put that information out there. All them states. We're gonna drop that stuff in the chat. We're gonna make sure.
Man, them states, man. Them states. That's sad that people just showing they horns, right? They just showing them horns, man.
But it's gonna continue to flow. We gotta do something. We gotta make sure that this stay relevant. This is how we lost our history to begin with.
We don't have enough people that care, though. That's the problem. We don't have enough people that care. At some point, it got to become. In order for us to come together, we got to start caring for each other. We just don't have enough people to care.
We're gonna definitely keep rocking. We're gonna definitely keep educating. We're gonna steady.
I'm gonna drop that information in there. Y'all look that up for real.
Drop that because you definitely some information you need to follow up to, man. And that brings us to our next piece because it's so important. We talk about history impact. Man, we're gonna go ahead and go to history impact with Brother Roberts.
Yes, sir.
Hello, how you guys doing again today? This is another installment of Black Lives Matter History Impact. Today I just want to share a little bit of information with you. What I have on today is called a shoka. This is from Kenya, the country of Kenya, but the Maasai warrior, this is their traditional dress. And before colonization, they actually wore sheep, cowhide, things of that. But after colonization in the early 1900s, they started using cotton with the invasion of Europeans coming into their country. But significantly about this, several different colors are worn by, the men, the women. Before the colonization, they actually made these garments and they dyed them with insects and plants and a lot of different natural things to develop the different coloring. Blue is really highlighted. Dealing with women, there's a social status that's surrounded by the clothing. So this again is called a shoka, and again we're going to be sharing information with our community, information that you may not be aware of, and we're trying to work to empower our community to think outside the box, so we can be better informed citizens of the universe and of this world. Our topic today is going to be on voting, the suppression of voting, and what's going on across the country. In 2013, the Supreme Court struck down Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And this is what we're dealing with today. This country was founded and was taken by people that was already here. And even when in 1776, when they so-called established the Constitution, we were not included. And then you think about the merits of this country that talks about, the rules. So you're supposed to vote. This past election, people came out the woodwork to vote. And what's going on across the country in 43 states right now, they have introduced 306 bills to suppress or deny people the right to vote. And again, we must be aware of this information because it's critical as far as how money is distributed county by county. Why is that important? So if we look at the national level, as far as what happens when you have congressmen and senators dealing with proportion money that is distributed from the federal to the states, it is very profound how you are represented. And so with the gerrymandering and with the attack on voting suppression, the Republicans are not playing. They got a full court press going on to deny people the right to vote, because when you have the power to vote, you can put in your legislation. And this is what a lot of times Democrats or liberal or however you want to think about what party you in, if you are saying that I want equal access, where I want to be treated fairly in this country, just take schools for instance. There are black schools that does not get near amount of resources than white schools. That has been going on from day one. And the unequal access to opportunities is across the board. In every aspect of our living, we are governed, and we have to abide by laws, policies, and procedures. And when we are not at the table, when these things are implemented and are passed, then we are subjected to being excluded from opportunities. And all throughout this country called America, all black people have wanted is the opportunity to have a fair shot. And what's going on right now, they are cheating. This legislation that's taking place in 43 states, they are cheating. And again, our community should be more engaged as opposed to rioting. We should be out there dealing with legislation. As far as educating ourselves on the power of legislation and then standing for those legislations that's going to help all of us, and then start boycotting, using our dollars to boycott systems, businesses, in restaurants, I don't care what it is. We have to start saying that we're not going to spend our money with these institutions that are not supporting us. And again, when you think about elections and why this is so important, let's look at locally. We have in Flint, Michigan, the county has more power than Flint City Council does, or the mayor. And what's going on downtown with the mayor and the city councils is ridiculous. All that too is a ploy, because it's like three-card Molly. I can keep y'all fighting over stupid stuff where the county, all their needs are being met. I echo this over and over. They have spent almost $1.5 billion downtown Flint, and not a dime almost East Flint, North Flint, South or West Flint. When you think about the north side or any other area in Flint proper, we continue to be devastated on top of the water crisis that was done intentionally. And so why am I sharing this information with our community? The power is still in the rules, even though they are cheating. If someone is cheating, then we must work together to stop them from cheating. And to be able to stop them from cheating, you have to be an informed populace, meaning our community, starting with the churches, the schools, our family members, we must start educating and talking amongst ourselves so we can empower ourselves, group up together where we can be a dominant force that's working to change our community. The Democrats are working on a bill. It's called For the People Act. This bill is designed to combat what's going on the federal level with all these states trying to suppress the vote. And again, real power does not respect only power. And again, what we continue to do right now, we are fighting over resources. And again, to our community, and as we continue to do this historical impact, We just want to work to empower our community to start stepping up, stop being depressed, stop feeling that you don't have no voice, stop feeling hopeless. We come from people that was the first people on the planet and they did not give up. I'm asking our community to get involved. If you have any more questions, please contact me, Hubert Roberts, 810-394-4105, and my email is mentorroberts@gmail.com. On behalf of Black Lives Matter History Impact, we thank you and we look forward to hearing from our community.
Nothing, baby. Go after the ball, fellas. Let's go nuts.
Man,
Hey, welcome back.
history impacted Brother Roberts, man, talking about the voter suppression, all these bills, 306 of them to be exact.
Yeah.
You know, it is what he said, man, and they did it kind of trying to be in a kind of like the low key, you know, type of thing. And he right, they cheating, and it's been like that. It's we under, like I say, we under a white supremacist government. I mean, that's what runs this country. So everything is to push the white race forward above anybody by any means.
Definitely.
By any means, you know what I'm saying? So and never forget that there are criminals. But I digress because I know everybody see this young lady sitting here
Miss Keisha Tureaud. Mrs. Keisha Tureaud.
from the 7th Ward, running for council.
Absolutely.
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you all?
We happy to have you here.
Glad
Look
to
forward to
have
this
you
conversation.
I'm glad to be here. I definitely want to go back to the point you guys made about the critical race theory, if you guys don't mind.
Go ahead.
Okay, because I want the audience to understand, I posted something earlier on my Facebook to get your attention and draw your emotion to how crucial the critical race theory is for our society. And I related it to the fact of the Black community having a child molester in your family.
Talk about that.
And your people telling you don't talk about it. It happened. And if you don't talk about it, it will happen again. So that's how I relate the critical race theory for our community. This is something that actually happened. It's not something we're making up. It's not any lies that we're telling. It happened. And if we don't discuss it, it'll keep happening. That's why we continue to have racial inequalities in our community. It's definitely something our children need to be taught. You are no more inferior to any other race, and that's not what it's teaching you. But it's teaching you the history so that we don't have to repeat that history over and over again. And I just wanted to say that. So we can all
By
go
all
on.
means,
Definitely.
by all means,
Definitely.
you had the floor.
Absolutely.
So talk to me, Keith. So, you know, we got the city council candidate going on, right?
Yes, sir. 7th Ward. I'm a write-in.
Absolutely.
On November 2nd, I'm a write-in for
Okay.
the 7th Ward.
Get your pins out. What's your tagline? It's gotta be a tagline. Bring your pins. You know what I'm saying? Something like something right in.
This is my slogan. Write the vision and make it plain so that the people will understand.
Okay.
That's my mission.
Okay.
Is to write the vision so that everybody understands. Because a lot of times people are looking to our leaders for us to tell you what needs to be done. That's not how it's supposed to work. And I need y'all to understand that.
Yes.
If you are a leader, you're a servant to the community.
That's what it's supposed. That's how it's supposed to
And
be.
the
Come on, now.
community is
Come on now.
supposed to tell us what they want to see in the
How
city.
they would like it to go.
How everything is supposed to go for their betterment.
Absolutely.
And all we supposed to do is have enough energy and unction, enough pit bull in us to go out and make sure it happens.
Definitely.
We're not supposed to tell you what's supposed to happen. It's not supposed to be a battle of the egos in the city
That's
council. Because we're servants.
Yeah.
We are here to serve.
I'm so sick of them at city council. Listen,
Man.
all y'all at city council, man. You know, this is what it's about, man. We really do need y'all to work because you got folks out here that's working 9 to 5, that's out here trying to take care of their families, that's out here paying taxes. and y'all ain't working.
Absolutely.
That's frustrating for people who looking to get those resources in those areas, looking to clean up life, and reinvest into their neighborhood, looking for grants to help access more healthy spaces and parks. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
City, right? We need y'all to be getting to it. And even with the 95 million that's coming down to the city, we need to have a plan of action. We don't need your city hall trying to put it in an operational budget. We really need the city down there, city council folks that's ready and competent to put a plan together that's going to put some action for it, but able to work in concert with one another, because you cross sector against different wars. And if you work with each other, you impact more people.
Right.
We need y'all to be down for the cause and make sure that Flint residents
Definitely about that action. Can't be talking us to death. Goodness gracious, just gas.
We beyond that. Listen, we ain't got no more gas. We burned out. We burned out.
None.
You don't want to hear Kate up there talking about all this old city stuff.
Man.
I'm just saying, that's gonna be frustrating about.
Absolutely.
It's going to 3-4 in the morning. It's crazy.
Just arguing about nothing.
Coming back to it,
Yeah.
yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We definitely need to change. I'm hoping that people familiarize themselves with the candidates, especially the write-ins. There were some issues with the petitions. I don't know if you all heard about everything that happened with the petition.
Y'all need to get my boy Rich petition in, and we upset with that because Rich should have been on the ballot.
Hey, but it's the
Not
same
the
thing
only
happened.
one.
The same thing happened with my mother. I had to screenshot her because I seen it
Who is your
today.
mother?
Linda Anthony, she was going in the first ward. She had
Okay.
got all her signatures in, even more than she needed.
Right.
And they had told her down there that she was good to be on the ballot. Ballot came out, we ain't see her name. You know what happened? Yeah, we know what happened. Yeah, you all the way good, you all that, and nothing.
Wow.
No, didn't tell her nothing, didn't give her no reason, nothing. It was just no more contact after it.
I had to file a FOIA act to find out what happened to my petitions because I turned in 150 petitions. I was told I couldn't turn in any more.
Double.
Right.
Double.
I turned in those. And when I filed the FOIA act and they sent it back to me because they wouldn't speak to me either, it came back. 2 noticeable ones on my petition that they had disqualified was Ryan Tureaud. He's my husband.
What they say? They
Disqualified.
They disqualified him
him.
as a registered voter. He votes in every election, and he's my husband. So
Wow.
I know he was qualified. And another one is Michael Clack. Michael Clack ran for
Oh,
my
so
goodness
the one
gracious.
running for commission can't
Wow.
vote.
You
What you
have
trying
to
to
be a
tell?
registered voter to run. for
Foolery.
office.
Tomfoolery.
So when I seen those two, that's when I said, wait a minute, something is wrong here. And I tried to reach out to them and I ended up actually copying and posting petitions because with the FOIA Act, they gave me all the petitions in my ward. So I have petitions from all the potential candidates.
Okay.
Monica Galloway, Allie, and somebody else. I'm sorry, I don't even remember the names. But when I got the petitions, 2 noticeable ones, Monica Galloway and Allie had phone numbers where the addresses were supposed to be. That's illegal. You're not supposed to be certified with stuff like that. I have the actual proof that I copied and posted on Facebook. So I'm like, what's going on here? Then I started hearing about, all the other candidates that were disqualified. But I said, I can't stop and hold up right here. I have to keep on running. That's why I'm running as a write-in for November 2nd, because I know that I am the best candidate for the 7th ward.
All right.
And for the city.
Okay.
So I cannot stop just because somebody tells me no.
Right.
And if any leader out there, and we talking about prominent leaders like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, if they would have stopped because somebody said no, we would not have the progress that we have today. I'm okay with hearing no. I'm just not okay with giving up when I feel like I'm the best candidate for the city.
All right now, as you should.
So tell us, what's so in the 7th ward, that's pretty mixed, kind of little vibe
It
over
is.
there, right? But it's really about kind of like really a plan of action, even when you talk about not only the culture center, because there's a lot of heavy voters in the culture center, but you got folks down there in the Stewart neighborhood who are actively voting, right?
Right.
Over in the 7th Street, number streets, them our areas, right? You know what I'm saying? Howard Block, we vote. We put
On back
we
to
put
the
a big number, right?
Regencies.
To the Regencies. The Regencies is in the 9th Ward. But when we get into those points, it's activating those spaces. What type of plan we got for our people?
First off, I am a mental health advocate. That is my primary reason for running. I have 5 facilities inside the city of Flint where I house mentally ill clients. I contract through Juneteeth Health System. And I'm trying to bridge the gap right now with mental health, because a lot of people don't understand that in the communities, especially with the crime rate going up, if one of your family members have been critically injured through gun violence, that's trauma. You are not a strong person if you just go on. You're a traumatized person. And most people don't understand that comes with mental blocks. And if you don't address that trauma, you're gonna have some issues in society, whether it's PTSD or depression. It's a hurtful thing when you lose a sibling or a son. Like so many mothers have lost children out here in our community.
Definitely.
That's a traumatic event. And nobody should have the right to tell you to just move on.
No.
Absolutely not.
Like they trying to tell us with this Juneteeth bill. Are you freaking crazy?
Yeah.
Can't nobody tell you how to feel.
How to feel.
How anybody gonna argue with how you feel?
Man, I'm pissed for all my enslaved people.
Absolutely.
Who had to deal with that nonsense.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
go
pissed
ahead.
I'm pissed for them doing my people like that, man. And
Yeah.
we supposed to step up. We ain't supposed to move on. And I was telling them earlier today, because we had a meeting with St. John's in the city of Flint. You can't sit up there and move forward until you heal the hurt. The hurt. If you did some wrong to somebody, ain't nobody sit at the table with you and all jolliness and be all good with you. Because it ain't gonna feel right.
That's right.
We people, we got feelings.
That's
So
right.
Absolutely.
when you trying to tell people that, you know what, whether you have mental illness, whether you lost a son in the street, whether you sat up there and got robbed yourself, whether you was popped, right? You know, however, just right, you know what I'm saying? You need to hit.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
we need to have those systems, we need to have that support, counselors, therapists, we need resources to be able to handle that. Just like when they kicked in some folk dope. The state police kicked in that folk dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like last month.
Oh yeah, the wrong door. They kicked in the wrong door.
Kick in the wrong
Oh, I
door.
heard about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, ready. The wrong house.
It's just my guy. 3 years old. You know what I'm saying? You always come down and get him in there. That's my guy. Ride the scooter. He a good little brother. He heard about it. I'm just like, I'm hurt for him.
3 years old?
Yeah.
He's 3 years old.
Traumatic
Oh, he
event.
hurt.
Absolutely.
Like, he used to watch the
And my brothers,
Oh,
our brothers and sisters are still teaming up with the people that do this to us and still wear a badge.
What about
What's up?
and not even only that, they kicked in his family's door and traumatized his whole family, these little kids, and supposedly they had the culprit already in custody.
Yeah, well, they had the wrong information. They went off a lead from an informant who probably was just trying to get off and just got
Yeah. But they didn't care. They was black folk. It didn't matter one way or the other.
Another house, but the house was next door. So they pointed out the blue house with a house, that was wrong, and they went into that one without the right intel. You can't mean to tell me you can't look and see who.
I mean, hold on.
whose property is this
Hold on.
person.
Is this stuff happening under the Chief Swanson that we've had conversations with about how he changing things in this city and the vibe and the tone? Is this stuff happening under him?
No, this was on the state police.
This on the state police.
Swanson on some garbage too down there too, for sure.
This on the state. Okay, just check.
And you know what I'm saying? Just even elaborate on that real quick, man. We sat down with you at the table for so long, right? And you know what time it is. And you backdooring on everything that we said, like, you know, we don't respect that, so we don't respect you.
Yeah,
Always remember, but this is what the state police did this one. They kicked in them people's door. They had the guns out. They ransacked the property, right? And didn't find nothing. But then it was how they treated the people. Like, I was out there. I saw all of that. like how they treated the people.
Yeah.
When you standing outside, ain't telling no information. You got people out here in the cold, right? It's children, people. They ain't just looking at you in their house. They don't even know what's going on. They know you at the wrong house. We all know you at the wrong house.
Right.
And y'all trying to devalue these people and look at them like they ain't nothing. You coming in this community, should almost got your ass popped. But we shouldn't never let that stuff go on. Right. That's why I be saying like, yeah, black people, we got to get our stuff together.
Absolutely.
We got to be tight. We got to protect ourselves.
We're supposed to. We're supposed to.
But that should never happen in the first place.
Absolutely not.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. But when you have gone so many years with dehumanizing a whole entire race, and that's what critical race theory helps people to understand. If you can humanize a person, just like they had to humanize George Floyd in order to get a conviction, because they were trying to dehumanize him like, oh, well, you know, he was combative with the police and he was on drugs and whatever. And drugs or mentally ill.
They gonna come with all
matter.
types of stuff.
Still a human being.
Yeah, not to them though. You black, not to
and
them.
that's
You know.
the problem.
Yeah,
we have to humanize
to
our
America.
society, our race, and the only way we can do that is to teach our history. You cannot make me human just by looking at me if you've been taught that I'm an animal. And, and that's how things were taught throughout all our history. So I don't understand how people, especially black people, are against critical race theory, because I've been getting opposition from black people. I don't understand it.
Yeah. We gonna go to a question. We're gonna go to a question from our live audience. We'll go to a question from our audience. One from Jalil, his brother Jalil. He wanna know, what is your thoughts on Phil Short's drug dispensary being downtown Flint?
I am a business owner, so I respect businesses. The fact of a dispensary in a neighborhood, in any neighborhood, because I respect businesses, but once again, I'm going to go back to, I am a servant. So if your constituents around that area that live in that area don't want it,
why would you allow?
Who are we to say put it there?
Yeah, man. Forget what y'all talking about.
Yeah,
We're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
But y'all even though y'all live in this area.
They live there. It is their choice. It is their right to say, I don't want this here. So it don't matter what I think. If I'm in office and I'm a leader, I am not trying to promote my agenda. I'm trying to see what the constituents want and go by what they're saying. And that's what any leader should do in the city.
And that's the problem right there. They're promoting their agendas. And they're putting their own feelings into it, and we should take that out. And like you said, you being a servant, and you're supposed to be listening to what the city has to say, what your people are saying. Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
I agree.
I got a problem with that, even how that even came about, man. I think when you talk about acquiring properties and even open bidding, I know they said it was on the market or it was on the website or however they said it was for 7 days.
But who knew?
They nobody checked that for
Exactly.
I was like, man, did you?
If you could get in,
did you put it out there in the newsletter? It was in the paper. I'm just saying, like, come on, is it the process? And maybe these are the process that we need to look at of how the open bids are going, and how they're playing it, because it may be a lot of properties or assets that's being sold this type of way. You always want to understand the checks and balances.
You know it
always
is.
Understand how these things are moving. Why that black couple didn't get to purchase it back in 2016? Why Schultz didn't get to purchase it right now for $500,000? I know it's a give and take going on.
People getting their pockets.
Even then, that stuff is in the St. John's neighborhood. You understand? That's in the St. John's neighborhood.
Absolutely.
St. John's don't want to do it.
They don't care.
They want their stuff back.
They don't want a weed dispensary in St. John's historical district. That's what we want.
It's a historical district.
Absolutely.
So we need to make sure that we check that in, because even though that the sale is final, right? We ain't got to support it.
At all.
We go down there and shut it down.
At all.
We go down there and shut it down. If y'all own it, we can go down there and shut it down. For the neighborhood there, if y'all don't want it, support us. All right, we'll come down there, get out there with y'all. We shut it down.
That's the problem. They ain't on that with us.
It don't have to be a weed dispensary. There still should be meetings held on what the business should be, because even though a person purchased the property, doesn't mean you get to do what you want to do at that property. There's zoning laws, and that's what the city council is supposed to facilitate.
Right.
So just because you have this property, I operate room and boards for GHS, but there are certain areas that I cannot go into with a room and board because the residents won't allow me to, and they'll say that at the city council meetings. Just because I own a property doesn't mean it has to be what they're trying to do. People need to understand the power that we have as a community. It don't matter that you bought that property, you still don't have to put this here because I don't want it here.
Right. Unless you want to buy it and donate it back to St. John's neighborhood. We rock
with that.
That might be a conversation.
You get right. If you come right, come correct. Come correct and be ready to be checked about it.
Nothing else. Man, this is what we got to be, man. We got to hold standards out here right now. I'm tired of feeling like we just getting moseyed over, running over us.
Because we don't stand on it. We say it, but we don't stand on it.
When we start stepping on these toes, though, these same
folks
that's trying to run over here, same folks that's trying to take our assets, same folks that's selling and bleeding the city dry. We need to step all 10 toes on them toes.
Absolutely.
Right? And let them know, like, we here. And we ain't going nowhere. We'll pop up everywhere downtown. We'll pop up down at the city council, pop up at city hall.
Wherever need be, we be there. Wherever. Whatever. We there, whatever.
Let's get more dope houses down Benton. Let's get more dope houses down Grand Blanc. Let's get it popping. Let's get dispensaries out there.
Well, they coming out here buying it. Why don't we just give it to them? Give them what they want.
Put some corner stores all through there. Put some corner liquor stores all through there and get it popping for real.
If you are doing a business, especially a prominent business in the city, and I'm only using Sunoco for an example, but I'm not talking bad about that. But if you're doing a prominent business and you making legitimate money, what are you doing to give back to the community? Because the community is funding your business. Why are the business owner, why are we not holding them responsible, not for the crime, because they're not police, and I won't police my business, but I'm giving back. Why are we not holding them responsible for giving back to the communities? That's what I'm confused on.
That's what we need to do more of. We need to do more of holding accountability. You say you support this community here. You say you support Black Lives. Well, let's see.
Show it.
Put your money where your mouth is. Absolutely.
That's cool. But we really need some sweat equity and we need some support, some real support.
Right.
So you say you about that, put your money where your mouth is. Let's see that support.
We got another question.
Big shout out to everybody who supported the Juneteenth. We're gonna get it out here. Big shout out to everybody who supported Juneteenth. Right? Sometimes, folks feel like they gotta support it because they moved and pushed to support. And sometimes folks just feel like, they feel so little that, hey, listen, I gotta support it just so I look like I'm supporting. Right? We're gonna clean up on all that. But the fact of the matter is we understand what's real and what's not.
Clean up on all that.
With the kente cloth, right? We understand on that. Kente cloth.
Well, so what they is then? Then what they is?
They polyester.
Oh man, I'm polyester, man. I'm polyester.
The Becky with the good hair. I'm gonna say that for brother.
Becky, I know he ain't got good. He ain't got no hair. He ain't got no hair. That Becky ain't got no hair. He ain't got no hair. He just bald head. No bald head. Becky with the no hair. But yeah, we did. We had a question from Winters Hall, and she wanted to know what was your take on systemic racism.
Because that's emotional right now. Okay,
talk about it then.
When she say take, there's no right way. Systemic racism is okay.
Right.
Okay. I'm go back to critical race theory. Okay, that they don't want to be taught in schools. Now I get why opposite races don't want it to be taught. I'm just confused as to why a lot of Black people don't want it to be taught, because if you do not teach this is the history, we're going to keep going back.
Mm.
It's embedded in our system. I don't care who
All
says
through there,
it's not.
racism, all through there, all
It's
through there,
embedded in the system.
all through there. Yeah.
So if you have something embedded, it's rooted.
Mhm.
It's rooted. So it grows trees and it bears fruit.
Absolutely.
How else can you get that out without teaching on the history of it to demolish, completely demolish, pick it up from the root? If we don't do that, it's going to continue to happen. So there's no, I mean, there's no way anybody should be for systemic racism. But to answer the question, it's here in America, not just in the city of Flint, but it's in America and it's embedded in our system, and we need to uproot it.
Absolutely.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, they went to say, "Oh yeah, I like her." They like her. You get mad support, you kill it. Hold on, I'm real passionate about on this subject. I'm real passionate on this subject because I've seen it face to face, and I always tell people about it. Like, man, y'all understand? I seen it face to face. In 2006, sitting in the county jail, me and my bunkie. I'm black, he's white. The exact same charges. I'd say the exact same charge, all floaters, exact same charges. So he had a prior record, I didn't.
Oh wow.
He got 8 years, I got 11. He had a court appointed attorney. I blew money on David Grant. But well, my point was he even knew it and couldn't believe it when we was in the cell. We ran into each other later on in prison, and I remember was talking about it, and that I just never forget the way I felt about that. Still to this day.
Can you explain how you felt? Because that's deep.
To this day, because of it, I don't know how to respect the system at all. And at the time, it made me racist. It made me racist. I was racist, like deep-rooted racist. I come to the chow hall and ask the people in line when they serving the food, who cooked it and what color is he? And if he was white, I wouldn't eat. That's how bad it got, because I couldn't stomach the stuff that I seen happen, just the things that happened just to me on myself. You know what I'm saying? That it still stick to me. It still, I think about it to this day.
Can I say this for the audience? I don't believe you were racist. I believe you had a mental trauma placed in your lap, because racism is rooted on people in power, and you didn't have that.
I like
power.
that. I like that, because I do hate the word racist.
You
were
traumatized by a system that you knew unjustly served you.
Yeah.
And instead of them giving you mental help, we locking you up.
Yeah,
that's what they do, and don't understand that that's a traumatic event that you had to mentally come back from.
And that's what I try to explain this to a lot of our youth here in Flint, because for some reason the youth just don't care. And I realize that what it is y'all don't. I understand y'all don't care up until the day that y'all get sentenced. Up until sentencing day. Yeah. That's when it hit. That's when it hit. And that's usually when it hit. And by that time it's way too late. But my point is, I try to tell people, and like, it's hard to tell somebody like, man, you don't want to go to prison, man. You don't want to be up in there. Because the first thing everybody tell you is, man, they think you trying to tell them that they can't handle it.
Absolutely.
But what they don't understand is, if you don't have to go that route, don't go that route, because it's the mental effect of being on that yard. That's hard to shake. That's forever hard to shake. That mental aspect, that's forever hard to shake. And y'all, and you don't understand, man. You wouldn't wish that on nobody. When you grown and you realize, like, people in my era, I'm 35 years old. So everybody in their mid-30s know how to do certain things because they acquired that through their 20s and all that. I lost all my 20s, so I ain't acquired these things. So when you trying to figure these things out, and you feel in your mind, you like, man, you should know this already. So it make you feel some type of way. You feel bad. It brings you to a point where you almost feel less than really a man. You know what I'm saying? You might hear people say things like, man, it was easier inside, easier to deal with life.
Well, I get that. I get that and I understand that. And I agree with her. Like I don't feel like that's a racist thing. I don't feel like we can be racist. I don't feel like we can be racist at all. All this that we have to go through, like how can we be racist against somebody that had us put their foot on our neck all this time? I don't feel like you being racist. I think, like she said, you went through a trauma, and every action has a reaction. So that was your reaction to the trauma that you occurred. Right. So I don't feel like that's a thing. And you know what? And everybody has to heal from that. And if you don't talk about it, you can't heal from it, right? If you don't revisit, you can't heal from it. And that's the same thing with our history. If we can't talk about it, how are we gonna heal from it? How are we gonna make things better? We can't if we don't do that.
Them in that field, we don't talk about
absolutely.
It. That would
Absolutely.
be ridiculous for us not to talk about it, or don't matter if the teachers ain't talking about it. We gonna narrate our story.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That'd be tired. Everybody who signed off on that bill need to be shot. Big dummies.
Yeah.
That don't make no sense. I don't understand why we be doing this.
And why is it? And why is it? And I don't understand why the people in Texas are outraged about that. Like what? Huh?
Is a mostly Republican state. So we talking about.
But I'm talking about us.
Oh, that's what I don't understand. That's
why
what
aren't we? That's what I'm saying. Why aren't we? Why aren't we in Texas? Us melanated people. Why aren't we enraged? Because I would be cutting up.
It probably is us out there going talking about it and all that stuff.
Just ain't enough.
Texas is one of those states within the country.
But still, we still have Missouri that's doing it. We still have Idaho that's doing it. And we still have Tennessee that's doing it. It's not just them, but. I get the ratio thing, but my point is this: is even if one person is talking about it, somebody got to say something. I've not seen anything like on the news, like nothing. Somebody got to talk about it at some point.
See, Texas
I get that.
One of red states, and we got to get more progressive out there.
Absolutely, we do.
Even when I be out in Texas, it's a feeling out there, right? It feel like, you know what I'm saying? It's Texas, right? And I be bucking up, just like I be in Mississippi. It's the same thing. But some of them in Texas, that I don't know if they even carrying that spirit right now. Right? It need to be josted out of them, right?
Absolutely,
they should be fighting back, and they should be upset about this. Everybody in Texas should be appealing that field, and everybody should be getting Abbott up out of there. That's how folks gotta play it. If they want to play with you play with them, and you make sure that you show them.
It's chess, not checkers, right?
Exactly.
Definitely. That's what we have to do.
And a lot of people are indoctrinated into a belief because I'm gonna tell you,
you're right.
I have a son your complexion, and I have a younger son your complexion, and I didn't understand.
Hey, boy, Bert, man.
Listen, I'm
It's different.
Both of y'all got beautiful black skin, and that's what I tell my boys. But I didn't understand how indoctrinated even black people are with the light skin, dark skin situation until I had my two children. And I seen the differential treatment with my darker son. So if we do that among ourselves, how do you think other races see us or view us?
But that's the thing though.
Exactly.
But that's the thing though, and we do that in our own families. My dad's side of the family, light bright, damn near white, right? Seriously, yeah, like your color.
Right.
They could pass the paper bag test, all of that, right? And like I was telling you before, we got some New Orleans, we got some in Arkansas and all of that, and they are light. But on my grandmother's side of the family, we good in chocolate, right? Good in chocolate, right? But I didn't embrace my darker skin until I got older, because on the other side of the family, all of my light skinned cousins were pretty.
Or so you thought. You had to be taught that, though.
Well, this is what I heard.
Okay.
So when you hear that, that is what what else can you go on? Because this is what you're hearing, right?
Yep.
So all my life, you know, my light skinned cousins, my cousin Danica, she was so pretty. Right? She light just like them, right? And all of them, they were so pretty. They were so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that. But even growing up in school or whatever, when I was younger, like I was kind of like the run, because on my dad's side of the family, they're not big, right? They're not big, but I'm dark. My lips big. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I didn't embrace the being. I appreciate you, but I didn't embrace the being fine until I got older. And I embraced the color of my skin, and I embraced that. But I had to learn that on my own, and that's sad.
Right.
That's what's the sad part about it, is that I had to learn that on my own, and I had to do my shadow work. I had to get in the mirror and tell myself, "Girl, you
pretty."
Right. That's all right, though. That's all right. Encourage yourself.
Beautiful.
Baby."
Encourage yourself.
I'm just saying.
Let me tell y'all right now. Listen, man. All our dark skinned black beautiful queens, right? Listen. Let me tell y'all. Y'all are the most prized possession.
Man, y'all the prize.
I mean, we talk that life, right? At the end of the day, we want that chocolate brown. You hear
Come
me?
on. You better say it slow. You better say it slow.
Listen, hey, they don't, we don't get on the color thing. We don't get on the
We don't want to start a race.
Yeah, we don't start no race.
Okay, I would like that.
We don't start no race for it. Yeah, we
gonna get back to our beautiful.
Yeah, we gonna do.
Lakeisha right
That's what we
here.
gonna do.
I got a question for
Cause
you.
look,
I got a question for y'all.
we go, yeah, listen. We not gonna get on. We listen. We not gonna get on that. We're not gonna get on that. I love you, baby. My wife light skin, so we're not gonna get on that. Just saying.
I just want to go back to you, and I want to get back to you and your campaign, because we just segued all over. But I
Yeah, we was everywhere today.
beautiful, and I want to talk about it. So you discussed earlier about that you were the best candidate. I just want you to give it to me. Tell me why you are the best candidate. Give it to these people right here, because when you the right in, we need to know why you the best, baby.
Okay.
Get your pins up.
Man,
and this
come
is
on.
the truth. I can go through bullet points, which I will. But the bottom line is, as I stated before, if you have another candidate that understands that being a city council is not about them, it's about being a servant. You're serving the community. So you go have nights where you don't feel like doing things, but it's not about you. You don't get to make the decisions because it's not about you.
That's right.
This is about the constituents that you serve.
Talk about it.
But going to my bullet points, like I said, I'm promoting mental health. I am a mental health advocate first and foremost in the community, and I believe that we cannot resolve anything, not even crime in the city, without addressing mental trauma. And no matter how small people think the mental trauma is, just like this brother had mental trauma.
Absolutely.
For being sentenced for 11 years. That's still a mental trauma that needs to be addressed in the mind.
Absolutely.
Secondly, I believe in equality. I am the only candidate that's standing up for all equal rights, even LGBTQ. Okay. And I am a Christian. But before that, I am a human person first. Okay. And it's hard. It's hard dealing with that in the church, but especially in politics, because usually politicians are afraid to address that inequality. Yeah. I ain't never scared. Okay. So I'm addressing it. Okay. Right. Okay. I'm addressing it in the city.
I agree with that mental health. That mental health is a big, strong piece here in the city.
Man, we gotta have some type of movement behind that, man. It's
sometimes folks say folks crazy. They be really crazy.
Yeah.
Listen, ask people if when they outside of the city, and when they outside somewhere outside of Flint, do you still drink out of bottled waters? Do you still drink bottled water? Will you drink faucet water?
When I'm outside of the city,
outside of the city, you outside of the city. You don't.
I don't
most
know more.
I do not.
That's
you
a trauma.
you drink,
but
you
you know
don't
what?
bottle, you bottle water.
But you know what though? It's a trauma.
That's a trauma because
it is a trauma.
you see what I'm saying?
But
Like,
get
there's nothing
this,
wrong with this water, but
I
you
even
just
pick and
it's
choose what
in you
bottled
now.
water I drink.
That's a trauma.
I don't. It's a trauma.
That's a
I
trauma.
only drink spring water. I know you lying.
That's a
You
trauma.
don't treat me
That's
like
a
that.
trauma, y'all.
It's a trauma. I'm a nerves bad. My nerves
I'm
bad.
tell you, no lie. I was
True.
Ritz. And I'm like, you know what I mean? I got bottled water. You like,
See?
bottled water you talking about? I said, I'm gonna brush my teeth.
Yeah, gotta do something. I gotta brush my teeth, man. They looking at you like. They looking at you like.
Question from the gallery.
From the gallery.
Is to Mrs. Tureaud. Tureaud. Question from the gallery is, what is your agenda and your vision for Flint and the 7th Ward?
Okay, first and foremost, I have explained that I'm a business owner. You cannot move any city forward without residual income.
Yes.
You better make that money.
How are you
Okay.
in the database, the tax base?
Okay, so I have proposed, first of all, in the 7th Ward at the old Pierce Golf Course, is to do a dog park, because the 7th Ward, they're big animal lovers. However small people think it is, you go out in Grand Blanc at Bicentennial, they have a dog park.
They do.
You pay to let your dog into that park. It creates residual income for their city. You go to Fenton, they have a dog park. Flushing has a dog park. Flint does not have a dog park, but we have dogs. I hear a lot of times people saying, well, why do you want to get a dog park? They go make the dogs fight. They go be out there, the dude's gonna be out there fighting a dog. Who taught you that? Who told you that we're animals?
Right, ain't no faith. No faith in
No
us.
faith.
Just go
Well,
straight
I'm
to some
having
crazy
faith,
stuff.
and I believe we have to move Flint forward with money, monedero,
Mhm.
money.
Say so.
You cannot move a city any type of way if you do not create income.
That's
And
right.
as a business owner, I've done that. And I believe that you have to do that. Not only that, my housing, all of my houses have been Genesee Land Bank homes. I know a lot of people complain about the land bank, but I've seen the blight in my communities, and all of my houses are not in the 7th Ward. Most of my houses are off of Ballinger and Mackin, Forest Hill. But I stayed in that area and I seen the blight in the area. So I said, let me do something. I started buying up the homes from the land bank and repairing them. And that's where my houses are for the mentally ill. So you can't just complain about certain things if you're not trying to do something. If you got to do it one block at a time. And I don't know, y'all younger than I am, but I think it was Rick Ross that said, buy back the block.
That's what he said.
Did he say that?
Buy back the block.
I'm just saying. I think that's what he said. Buy back the block.
He wasn't hanging around with cuz over there.
And so if you have to do it one home at a time, you need to do something in your specific community, the area you grew up in. So residual income is my option.
So I am really touched by the mental health. Like I told you, we talked before that is kind of near and dear to my heart. Just the reason why is my father was a Marine and he was in Vietnam. And so when they came home, they had a lot of issues. They were being called baby killers. They couldn't get the help that they needed. And these people were young and dropped off in the middle of given a gun and dropped off in the middle of the jungle and saying, fight, and they had trauma, real trauma. And there's some of those brothers are still right here out on the street right now. I know some of these people that used to be near and dear to my father's heart, that are friends of my father, that are still out there with no place to stay or anything. And I am one of those people, when I see them, I stop. And I always ask them, what you need? I'll bring them something. If I see them, I always have something in the back of my truck right now. It's always water. It's always like some type of snack or something, because if I see them, I'm giving it to them because I remember them coming up, and they're still in that same place because nobody is helping them, because everybody is calling them crazy and you have no idea what they've been through. And we need to stop that. We need to stop calling everybody crazy. And if you feel like you can't handle it, then call somebody that can. There's a lady right now out by my neighborhood, and she's in the middle of the street, and they call the police. They call the police and they take her, and because she crazy, and they lock her up for a couple of days, and then she right back out there. But nobody is getting down to the reason why she's out there and what's the matter. What's wrong? She can't even. But my point is, this lady can't even speak. To even talk to her, she can't speak. She can't even tell you what's wrong with her. So we just gonna chalk it up to she crazy. That's ridiculous. That is one thing that is near and dear to my heart. My father had PTSD so bad that he couldn't even, a car could backfire. You could pop your gun loud, and my dad he clicked back to the jungle. You know what I'm saying? It took him a long time to get to where he could be in Gen Pop, basically. You know what I'm saying? It took him a long time to do that. And those brothers are still out here suffering from that. Because they allow, because the system allowed them to do that. And we need to do better. We just need to do better. We can't just chalk that up. You know what I'm saying? And there's so many things that happen with these people that we don't know. Just like this brother, he could be way out there. He could be way out there. I'm just saying.
But no, you serious? It's serious. It's serious.
Because those things happen.
From the outside looking in, people will think that. Like if for whatever reason, if this room was to just get real quiet, I think me and one more other person in this room, I know for sure, would be on our team, trying to figure out what's going on. Absolutely. Because that's just something that was embedded in you over that time and behind those walls. Is once it get quiet, it's something finna pop off. So it get quiet, you already like, you know, you don't want to do that because it's not normal. You don't want to do that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You don't want to be upset that somebody walked past you a little close and they didn't say on your left or on your right. They don't know that in general population. They don't know that they got to do that. But you embedded that in there because that could cause you your life for not doing it. Definitely. So it's embedded in you in there. So when you get out here, when you see that, like I get people look at me crazy when I walk past on your left, on your right. You know what I mean? It's embedded in you.
And we have a responsibility to the vulnerable, and that's what I call them. Y'all are younger, but I don't know if y'all knew Wody. Everybody knew Wody in the city.
Put on your seatbelt. They out here. They out here. Wody was my guy. Before the Wody, before they messed over Wody.
But it was the community responsibility to look out for him. You don't have to take him home because he been in and out of my house and too. But anytime he needed something to eat, he knew he could always come back to my house. And that's what the community is supposed to be about. And a lot of people don't know that when the Black Panther Party started, not only did they feed the children, they took care of the vulnerable. They made sure the community was good, and they were militant about it.
Absolutely, as we should
have to
be.
get back to that for our community.
Definitely,
you need to take care of the vulnerable inside your own community because they're our responsibility.
Definitely.
I'm glad you said that, though. Right? You talk about what the Black Panthers Committee in Oakland County, Oakland, California, when they was out there building, it was doing taking care of women and children, the vulnerable. The mentally ill, right? The drunkards, right? Right. Something to eat. That was the whole thing for us, to be building each other up. And we always say the only time we look down is to pick somebody up. That's the vibe. That's holding the standard. That's being cool. That's gangster. That's taking care of your people. That's taking care of your neighborhood. That's taking care of your future. Definitely. That's making sure that we got opportunity out here. And so I'm glad that we're talking about principles, because that's something that we hold strong to, is holding standard and really making sure that, you know, all our folks that's in leadership, that they have this level of standard right? That they looking out for the constituent base,
Mhm.
right? And acting on behalf of us.
Right.
Exactly.
Because when you talk about us as now, too often, too long, we let them kind of do whatever they want to do down there. But now we want to make sure that we charge them with the activities that they should be doing. We want to give them the plan of action that they should carry out. And we're gonna hold them accountable if they do, if they don't.
As we
right?
should.
And it's like us holding reports, we give it grades, we calling you back after 90 days, seeing what type of work you done, so that at least we know, hey, listen, this is what you contribute to, this is what you done, and we can guide you and work with you along the way. And that's what every council person, that's what the mayor, that's what the state rep, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why we don't know what the heck is going on down there, because they ain't coming back saying or reporting out. And the community is left on the wing trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What is your opinion or thought about the condition of Flint and its garbage trucks? And what is your solution to the problem?
Obviously, they've been doing a poor job, and it shouldn't have been going on this long, because they had the same contract with Fenton. And Fenton dissolved their contract because they're not allowing them to be late or not picking up on certain days, or to make excuses like they don't have the workforce. It is not my job to get you to hire people. It's my job to make sure you do your job. So whatever excuses they have, as a business person, they would have been fired a long time ago, and that should have been handled a long time ago. I know there's contracts and everything in order where you can't just fire a company, but this should have been handled a long time ago. And I'm gonna be honest, we shouldn't have to constantly call for you to pick up trash. And the only way I can look at it as, because Fenton, if you compare the two cities, Fenton, city of Flint, Fenton quickly got rid of Republic. City of Flint is still holding on to it. Why do the city of Flint see us as any less important than other cities? We like cleanliness too. I know I do.
Absolutely.
I want my trash picked up and my lawn and leaf bags gone outside in front of my yard. So that's something that should have been taken care of instantly. And every city council person should have been at Republic's doorstep and taking no excuses. And that's what I mean by being for your constituents. Sometimes you have to do things that you don't necessarily want to do, but knocking on somebody's door and saying, hey, I'm not leaving until you go pick up on 2nd Street, because this is ridiculous.
Right.
That's what city council should have been doing at their doorstep.
Right, man. Ain't nobody else in 7th Ward talking like that. If I got no fire in them on the 7th Ward like this, goodness.
Man,
y'all hear this?
Yeah.
7th Ward?
Yeah.
7th Ward? 7th Ward? Come on. Y'all hear this? Come on.
How do you plan on bringing money to the 7th Ward?
The first thing is the dog park, and I've contacted several businesses in the 7th Ward. For instance, I know it's kind of a sore spot to some people, but like I said, sometimes I do things out of the ordinary if I know it's going to be a good thing for the city. The Piece of the Rock owner, Larry White, contacted me because he'd been wanting to do a skating rink inside the Piece of the Rock.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And the current 7th Ward Council has been holding him up.
It has for years.
That's crazy, because we were just talking about that. Some of my friends, we were talking about that. Come on now.
Why?
I don't want to go way out there to skate.
Why? And that's a business that could generate income for the city. And their excuse was it's going to cause chaos. They right here at Sunoco with somebody that's not even from Flint making money
and allowing
it. But you won't let this black man open up this skating rink.
Absolutely.
Who's trying to do something? Who gives food away for free in the 7th Ward? I believe every Saturday or every other Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
Was doing them water drives and all that. Yeah.
And he can't make money and generate income for the 7th Ward and the city of Flint. I'm confused.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Ain't no liquor store getting back. Ain't gonna never get it back.
But they can open up liquor stores on any corner,
Yeah.
obtain liquor license. But
easily.
this man can't open up a skating rink for the citizens in the 7th Ward in his community. I'm just completely.
They ain't gonna push nothing. That's gonna help black folks.
That's half the problem right there. Nobody, they don't have anything to do, and you just gonna block it. So we don't have anything constructive to do. So what else they gonna do? Hang out at SNL?
Hang out
what
at
else they gonna
do? And it's still not generating income for the city.
We don't need them. No.
And that's what I'm saying. This is a skating rink he was trying to do. And this man actually gives back to the community. So that's why I'm saying I'm confused as to the mindset of the city council for allowing certain businesses, but disqualifying other businesses.
They always disqualify black
sense.
business. This is what you get. This is who we elect. They always disqualify black business. Look what they did. Look what's going on with WT Stevens. WT Stevens should be out here replacing Goyette folks. We should have brothers out here in the community that's been for this community working with WT.
They're not trying to give these jobs to the brothers in the community.
Not at all.
They're not trying to.
They're giving brothers a shot. They're giving folks jobs that they can pay, and they was living good. $20,000, $30,000.
They not.
an hour.
They not trying to give it to no brothers. They're not trying to give it to nobody in the city.
This is the thing with us. We always giving business out to everybody else but our own.
Yeah.
We don't want to make a way for us. We gotta be like scared. Like we gotta do what the white folks want us to do. We gotta give it to the white folks because they gonna do the job better than what the black folks gonna do. Now listen, man, let me tell you this. This is where we gotta start being about what we gonna be. You have to make a way for black businesses.
Yeah,
you want to empower these minority and small businesses. You want to give WT Stevens more contracts, more construction jobs up here in Flint so they can hire folks in the community. That's your tax base. Now they're paying taxes in Flint. Now they're buying stuff. Now they're building up.
Exactly.
Now you're getting different type of engines going on. So you want to see this. This is our city. This is where we at. So you gotta have these opportunities available. So people on council, you want to go ahead and make sure black businesses are getting those grants, they getting those contracts, they getting those opportunities to go ahead and do some great work here in Flint. Stop giving it to the same old players, the same old folks, your friends, the same old boys that's coming out of the city. They ain't paying no taxes.
Them folks that ain't paying no taxes and bringing their other people in so they can get 7 more years of no taxes. Come on,
with
man.
all that mess. Y'all need to chill out with that nonsense because everybody in the city sees it. It's so disgusting.
It is.
It's so retarded.
It is.
Because you ain't making no sense. And then you want to get up there and be in the meeting for 13 hours and still ain't get nothing done.
Man.
Now y'all need to get it together. Y'all listen. We about to show you better. We can tell you.
Better.
All y'all out the way who've been playing these 6-7 years. That stuff is over. We're gonna have a whole new freshman class.
That's right.
We're gonna get to work.
That's right.
I'm hoping so.
That's right.
And
No, we gonna speak those things in which they are. We gonna speak all that into existence. That's what we gonna do.
We do. We have a question that we ask all our council people that come on here because we want it on record.
Yeah.
So we could pull it back if things happen to change.
Yeah.
So that question is, will you, if elected council, will you sell out the city of Flint?
Oh no, I don't. I'm. If anybody know me personally, I stand on what I say, and that's solely my makeup. I would be less of a person. There is no sellout in me. If we're talking about this is what we're gonna do, and that's why I say you need people with a servant's heart. Because this is not about me. There's no reason for me to sell out if I go into this knowing that this is not about me.
Right, talk about it then.
I don't need no accolades or fame for this.
That's right.
The only thing I want to do is move the city forward for my boys. I have 2 boys.
Absolutely.
And that's what made me figure out that I need to get out here and make a change for my 2 children. And if people don't have roots grounded in the city of Flint, that's why they sell out. Because you have nothing to lose in the game.
You talking
That's right. Now you talking about it right now.
You talking.
Now see, that's what I'm saying. They don't have nothing to lose.
You have nothing to lose.
Absolutely.
So there you have it. There you have it. On the record.
On the record.
That's on the record. We have to ask. We ask that now. We ask that now because we have a lot of council people have gotten those seats. They have made promises, knocked on doors, passed out book bags and did all the nice stuff, kissed babies,
Yes,
and did all the good stuff,
yes.
hugged people, and shook hands, and got up in there and forgot all about some people.
No reason to do that.
Neely, where the money at? But anyway, I get back to.
Let's talk about it.
We can't get the video. We weren't able to get the video
Let's talk about
together
it.
yet. So we gonna get that video back going.
Stay tuned.
You look real shook out there.
Yeah.
We're gonna get that video going.
Yeah.
But
He said we will be bombarded. Yeah.
No. Disclaimer.
What's the
Listen, man. Listen, man. You're doing stuff wrong. If you're doing stuff wrong,
We call it you out. No, so the city out.
Be coming around like all things and sweet.
Come on, man.
You're dealing with a different type of energy this time, right?
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying for us.
Man.
The young folks ain't waiting on nobody. We ain't waiting on no baby boomers. We ain't waiting on nobody. To give us nothing.
we big
Never
stuff.
waited on anything from y'all.
Big.
I'm letting you know now. If you a leader in this community,
What's the one after the baby boomers? It's Generation X.
X.
Generation X, we ain't waiting on y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all disappointed.
yeah.
That's all the folks right. Disappointed.
Look, I'm letting he talking that us. He talking. Y'all can get it.
Y'all disappoint me.
That's you per se. He probably be collective.
You the baby boomer. We talking about you first.
All y'all had was y'all had a good time because y'all benefited from the GM sales.
Yeah.
Y'all was just jacking it off.
He said he was close. Big say he was close, DK. He was close, DK.
Did y'all put the disclaimer up? Because right now he going into an area where he finna tick a lot of people off.
It's okay. We gonna hold him down. I got you. I got your back.
Hold my people accountable because for a long time, and every time I'm always getting held accountable. That's how it's supposed to be. If I'm not doing right for the younger generation coming up back to me, they gonna tell me about it.
Absolutely.
They gonna worry their opinion.
Yeah.
Say, listen, bro, you can't hold it down.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to respect on that. I'm gonna have to say, all right, let me step my game. But the thing is, we telling that generation before us, yeah, man, we hurt by that. Like, because we really be needing y'all. We really need y'all to go ahead and hold us down and show us the way, be the guidance, right? Some continuity.
Yeah.
Right? It's a whole important reason why we say that. So when you don't, we only telling you from a place of love. And we feel like you just left us out here.
Because we did. We dropped the ball.
And what we gonna do is, though, we still
Every generation.
anyway,
We dropped the ball.
Every generation. We did too.
Pick ourselves up.
We did too.
Pick ourselves up. We're gonna dust our knees off. We're gonna get it out the mud like we know, like we've been known. And so when we wipe that thing off, we clean it up, and we can say, hey, listen, you know what? We the generation and say, hey, listen, we got to go back in, go get it back out, get it together, but we're gonna pass it off to the next generation so they have opportunity.
Absolutely.
That's what we have to stand for.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's what we got to do. This was this was a powerful conversation, a powerful talk,
It was a
man.
great conversation.
Well, Ms. Tureaud, you are definitely on fire. My goodness. You gotta get in one of them. You have to get in one of them seats. We need that. We need that.
fire.
We need that in one of them
fire.
seats. We need that type of fire, man.
You know what?
They know it's coming from.
Look.
I got your back. You ain't gotta stay on the island by yourself.
But look, hey,
It's okay.
Generation where you want to be 1 foot in.
Dewan, don't worry about it. You ain't up there by yourself.
Get down in the field.
We finna black out. We finna go black.
They know what time it is.
We finna go black out. Yeah. 1, 2, 3.